There's a quiet battle happening in the AI world right now, and most people don't even see it. It's not about which chatbot is better. It's not about which app is more popular. It's a deeper, more important fight, a battle between open AI models and closed systems. And the outcome of this battle could shape how AI is built, controlled, and used for years to come. Because this isn't just a technical difference, it's a completely different philosophy about how AI should exist in the world. On one side, you have open models. These are systems where the underlying technology is accessible. Developers can study it, modify it, run it on their own infrastructure, and build on top of it freely. Open models are about flexibility. They allow companies to customize AI to their needs. They give developers control over how the system behaves. They reduce dependence on a single provider. In many ways, they represent decentralization. On the other side, you have closed systems. These are controlled environments where the AI is accessed through an interface, usually an API, but the underlying model remains private. You can use it, but you can't see how it works. Closed systems are about control. They allow companies to manage performance, safety, and updates centrally. They create consistent experiences across users. They protect proprietary technology. And they often deliver highly polished, optimized results. At first glance, both approaches seem valid, but the tension between them is growing, and it's starting to influence major decisions across the industry. Because choosing between open and closed is no longer just a technical choice, it's a strategic one. Let's start with control. Companies using closed systems are essentially building on someone else's foundation. That can be powerful because those systems are often advanced, reliable, and constantly improving. But it also creates dependency. If pricing changes, if access is restricted, if capabilities shift, you don't have full control. And for many businesses, that's becoming a concern. Because as AI becomes more central to operations, relying entirely on external systems starts to feel risky. That's where open models become attractive. They allow companies to own their infrastructure, to run AI on their own terms, to customize it deeply, to ensure long-term independence. But that freedom comes with trade-offs. Open models often require more resources to manage. They may not be as optimized out of the box. They need expertise to deploy and maintain. They shift responsibility from the provider to the user. So while they offer control, they also require commitment. This creates a fundamental trade-off in the market. Convenience versus control, speed versus ownership, performance versus flexibility, and different companies are choosing different sides. Another layer of this battle is innovation. Open models tend to accelerate experimentation because more people can access the technology, more ideas get tested, more variations are built, more use cases are explored. This creates a fast-moving ecosystem. New tools, new approaches, new breakthroughs, often emerging from unexpected places. Closed systems, on the other hand, tend to focus on refinement. They prioritize reliability, performance, and user experience. Instead of thousands of variations, you get fewer but more polished solutions. So the innovation looks different. Open systems explore widely, closed systems optimize deeply. Both contribute, but in very different ways. There's also a business model difference. Closed systems are easier to monetize directly. Companies charge for access, usage, or subscriptions. They control the ecosystem, the pricing, and the distribution. Open models, by contrast, often shift value elsewhere, into services, into infrastructure, into customization and support. The model isn't pay to use in the same way, it's build and extend. This makes the competitive landscape more complex, because companies aren't just competing on technology, they're competing on how that technology is delivered and controlled. Another important factor is trust. With closed systems, users rely on the provider to manage safety, bias, and performance. That can be reassuring, but it also requires confidence in that provider's decisions. With open models, transparency is higher. You can inspect, modify, and understand the system more directly. But that also means responsibility is distributed, and not every user has the expertise to manage that responsibility effectively. So trust becomes a different kind of challenge. Centralized trust versus distributed trust. And both have strengths and risks. There's also a geopolitical and strategic dimension to this battle. Governments, enterprises, and institutions are starting to think about AI as critical infrastructure. And that raises questions about control and sovereignty. Do you rely on external providers for core capabilities, or do you build and maintain your own systems? Open models offer a path to independence. Closed systems offer a path to performance and speed. And that decision is becoming more important as AI becomes embedded in everything. Now here's where the battle gets even more interesting. Most companies are not choosing one side completely. They're blending both approaches, using closed systems for speed and performance in some areas, while experimenting with open models for control and customization in others. This hybrid strategy allows them to balance the trade-offs, but it also reflects something deeper. There may not be a single winner in this battle. Instead, the outcome may be a layered ecosystem, where open and closed systems coexist, each serving different roles. Closed systems dominating high-performance, user-facing applications. Open models powering internal systems, specialized use cases, and custom solutions. But even if both survive, the tension between them will continue. Because at its core, this battle is about something bigger than technology. It's about who controls the future of AI. Is it centralized, managed by a few powerful platforms? Or is it distributed, shaped by a wider ecosystem of developers and companies? That question doesn't have a simple answer, but it will influence how innovation happens, how businesses compete, and how much control different players have over the systems they depend on. So when we talk about the hidden battle between open AI models and closed systems, we're not just talking about technical architecture. We're talking about the structure of the entire AI economy. And while most users may never see this battle directly, they will feel its impact in the tools they use, the systems they rely on, and the choices companies make behind the scenes. Because in the end, the biggest battles in technology are often the ones happening quietly. And this is one of the most important ones unfolding right now.